Welcome to the pit. 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 Welcome to the pit.
Now if it's a party, you know I slide through. Ain't why me shine with no dime. When I slide through. Hey bitch, I'm elevator high. When I slide through, I keep it real, I don't lie. When I slide through. Now if it's a party, you know I slide through. Why me shine with no dime? When I slide through, bitch, I'm elevator high. When I slide through, I keep it real, I don't lie. When I slide through, step up in this bitch like I'm 10 feet high. Ho, I'm just outstanding. That mean that I can't lie. I got the green next to me, call that shit a standby. It ain't one beat hill that a nigga won't fry. Yeah, I'm raising up the temperature.
It's Thursday night, which means it's time for the hottest show on a Thursday night. It's time for the Rex Pit.
I guess it's you if I'm offending ya. Now if it's a party,
let's get into it.
Hey, why me shine with no dime? When I slide through, hey bitch, I'm elevator high. When I slide through, I keep it real, I don't lie. When I slide through,
let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. We appreciate everybody for coming through when they come through. We appreciate you if you're in the building already. If you're coming through after the fact, we appreciate it. This is the Rex Pit, hosted by me, your boy, Blakberry. That's Blakberry, no C, just a K. We got Trae Young returning to the Atlanta Hawks. That just tipped off probably like a few minutes ago. We got the preview for the Atlanta Falcons going across the desert to the Arizona Cardinals in this in their upcoming game, and then of course, the Georgia Bulldogs are on a bye week because they did the damn thing and earned themselves a bye in the first week of the college football playoffs. It's a lot to cover tonight. We're gonna get straight to it, man. First, we're gonna show some love to the loyal compadres and compadres of the channel. If you're not in the chat already, I encourage you, please join the conversation in the chat. Join the conversation in the chat. We starting this thing off an hour early tonight because I gotta pick up that I gotta make sure I'm on time for. So we had to start this off an hour early tonight. Not sure whether or not we're gonna get a big wheel showing tonight. Not sure, but we definitely gonna make sure we hold it down for the Georgia Reaper. Now, with that being said, it's Thursday night football as well. We won't be covering the game tonight, but y'all make sure y'all tune in for that because it's also the championship week for fantasy football. So if you're in your respective fantasy leagues and you still in the fight, that means you fighting for a championship starting tonight. Me myself, I was put out this past week. So I made it far. Almost had me a 2 out of 3 Coach Unchained Fantasy Football League championship victory. I was very close again to getting it again, but this year there will not be a repeat champion in the Coach Unchained Fantasy Football League. Instead, there will be a new champion, and it could very well be the man himself, Coach Unchained, as he is fighting for it with Keyshawn Vlad in the Coach Unchained Fantasy Football League. Now, we have Trae Young returning to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. And me, myself, I'm pretty excited about it. They're gonna be on the road in Charlotte. They ain't went that far. They just went up the road. On the road against the Hornets, a team that's historically lately, well, we're not gonna say historically, but I guess technically historically, lately over the past handful of seasons, they've had the Hawks number, so to speak, especially when a certain Ball brother is playing. When Lorenzo is that Lorenzo Ball? I think that's Lorenzo. Ball they got. Mellow Ball. Sorry. Is it Mellow? It's Mellow. Or is it Lorenzo? Is it Mellow or Lorenzo? It's one of them some bitches. But we gonna get a chance tonight to kind of like prove to ourselves that the Trae Young sighting with the return, that this team can be just as efficient and just as tough and keep up its defensive prowess that is kind of developed in the early part of this season. Not too sure whether or not that's something to really be hanging our hats on just yet, but with the returning of Trae Young, first of all, he come back from a knee injury, so we're gonna see how many minutes he get. He probably gonna be somewhere. I'd be surprised if he get over 20 minutes playing time. Be honest, if he get more than 20 minutes, I'd be very surprised. I'd say his ceiling probably like 25 to 28 minutes. But if he get over 20, I'd kind of be surprised. But it's gonna be something that a lot of fans are gonna be paying attention to tonight. Can they be efficient scorers with Trae Young on the floor, with the same kind of ball movement we've seen? How are they going to play them on defense? Me, myself, don't got a whole lot of trust in Quinn Snyder coaching defense, especially with Trae Young on the floor. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to go about this tonight. Now, like I say, with the many restrictions, it's kind of hard to gauge, kind of hard to tell what's going to happen. But all we can do is look on and watch and see. So we're going to keep track of that tonight. At least for about an hour and a half, we're going to keep track of that. And then we're going to also talk about these Atlanta Falcons going over to the Arizona Cardinals on the road after a division victory, a surprising division victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers And man, talk about the controversy that's been behind that win. I've never I've never seen that much controversy behind a win in any sport. I haven't. I'm talking about like the negative like the controversy that went against the Falcons, and not just and it's not from major media outlets, and it's not from the local media outlets. It's from the fan base. The fan base went ballistic the past week. Ballistic. Because of Trae Young, and because of the Atlanta Falcons. You got a lot of controversy with going on with Trae Young and Hawks too, but the controversy behind the Falcons winning in Tampa last Thursday over the past week has been astronomical, to say the least, from the fan base. A lot of fans worried to death that win is gonna be like it's gonna be like a stepping stone to Raheem Morris retaining his job as head coach in Atlanta. But we gonna see what happens, man. As far as we know right now, some of the narratives that was out there leading up into that game, some of those narratives kind of been put to bed. Like Raheem Morris lost the locker room. You don't play the way. I mean, it was a very undisciplined football game, and I do think that some people like AJ Terrell need to be investigated because there's some very shady type play going on from AJ Terrell. It was either just a real bad night for him with getting all those flags, or he was doing the shit on purpose. I can't really tell you. Don't really know. He don't necessarily have great games against Tampa Bay anyway, but I really don't know. But also, Jake Matthews, like, what was up with that? Like, that was uncharacteristic of him getting as many penalties as he got. So, but the team in all, had 19 accepted penalties. So there was more penalties, but 19 of them was accepted. I think it was like a total of like 22 total penalties. 19 accepted for like 125 yards, and they still won the football game. Now, a lot of people, more specifically Falcons fans, have been doing a lot of jumping down the Falcons' throats for having such a terrible game and pulling out a victory that a lot of people wanted them to lose to solidify, to more so solidify the firing of Raheem Morris. And, when if you really break the shit down for real, man, if we won that game, which we did, in the fashion that we won it, what in the world do you think Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans is going through right now? You got the division in your control. Now, luckily, now in hindsight, Carolina lost this past weekend as well. But as of that point, you relinquished control over the division. And as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, you've looked at the past handful of weeks and you're like, do we even trust that this team is capable of making the play of winning a game in the playoffs? But, like I said, if you make it to the playoffs, anything can happen in football. So just make it to the dance, and if you get the prom, if you get the prom queen, or if you get the homecoming queen drunk enough, you might just be able to take her home and do something with her. But like I say, just make it to the dance, and then you'll see. But if you don't even make it to the dance, then you ain't got no way of knowing, right? So we gonna cover some of that, man. I don't know about the rest of you, but when we saw that Drake London was gonna be out, and we saw all season long that there's been no Trey Anderson, there's been no Braylon Trice. Zach Harrison got hurt early. He's been out for a significant amount of time. It's no surprise to me that these guys have been listed as not returning. First of all, a couple of them was never here. They was never there. They were never available. A couple of them, and it's no surprise to me that they won't be making a return. I don't know why some fans have developed this. It's like they've developed such a dislike for Raheem Morris that logical thinking has kind of gone out the window. Let me set the record straight. I didn't want Raheem Morris when he got hired. I've been on not just record of saying that, but when he initially was hired, I got just go down my timeline, go down my list of videos back in February 2024, January 2024, whenever it was, and you will see that I was against the hire. I questioned it just as much as most fans. There's been nothing that Raheem Morris has done pre-hired as Falcons head coach, post-hired as Falcons head coach that gives any indication that he can turn this around. I mean, I don't know what if anybody can go find a piece of evidence, some footage, some audio, something that would make us feel like he could turn this around. Please present it to the masses, please. Please show us anything that relatively comes close to any indication that he can turn this around. We haven't seen it from him before. I don't think we'll see it from him now. But that ain't up to me to decide. It wasn't up to me to decide. It wasn't up to me or you to decide whether or not he was going to be the head coach of the Falcons. That wasn't up to either one of us. It was up to Arthur Blank and whoever he put in charge of making the decision. Of course, we know it was Rich McKay. But this is what I've been trying to tell all of you. It matters not what he's shown you before or now. It matters not. Because as long as the management of this team continues to make the decisions they've made, as long as they're in control of what goes on with this football team, we're going to continue to see the BS that we've seen. We're going to continue to be subjected to these bad coaching hires. We're going to have these sexy names on the back of these jerseys that's going to go oh man, I want everybody to pay attention to something. Now, see, this is evident. This isn't me calling nobody out or throwing nobody under the bus or any of that. But pay attention to a lot of the content creators you watch. When the Bijans and the Drake Londons and the Kyle Pittses and even the Michael Penix Juniors, when those names was called, their jerseys sold fast. And a lot of the content creators that you watch went and bought those jerseys. Most of them went and bought those jerseys. It's the same for most of the fan base. And the only reason why I'm using content creators is because we put ourselves out there to show our fandom. We put ourselves out there to give our opinion so people see and hear what we feel about what's going on with our team. But that representation is a very good representation of the fan base itself. If Arthur Blank knows that as long as we like the names that are on the back of the jerseys, as long as the names are sexy, that's all Arthur Blank has really ever cared about. And it's also what makes him think that it doesn't matter who they get in here to coach, as long as who they get in here to coach got some kind of relationship with a specific coaching tree. And as long as that person is going to roll with the punches and roll with the program. Shout out to Big Low Country. He made a very good point on Fan Speak this past Tuesday when he said that the Atlanta Falcons have been attempting to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever since Rich McKay came to Atlanta. Makes sense, right? Rich McKay was in Tampa for a long time, basically running the team. They won a championship in that process. Did they win? Did they win when Rich McKay was there? Let me think. I want to say they did. I want to say they did. Somebody fact check me if I'm wrong, but I believe that first championship they got in Tampa Bay with Warren Sapp and them boys, I do believe Rich McKay was there for that. I think I want to say that's a fact. But if I'm wrong, somebody fact check me. But it begs the question, what exactly did Rich McKay bring, knowledge-wise, with him from Tampa that Arthur Blank is so dead on trusting? Because clearly he trusts whatever the process is, whatever the plan is that Rich McKay brought over, he's been dead on just focused on making sure that works. And it seems like he's dead on making sure that it works, because if it doesn't work, then you kind of have to blow up everything that you've put in place outside of building Mercedes-Benz Stadium and Atlanta United. But as far as with the Falcons go, you got to kind of blow up whatever idea you had of success when you purchased the Atlanta Falcons. Excuse me. So what is it? And you know, a lot of private eyes in social media have done a real bang up job of convincing people that just because they know a lot of names and they know a lot of coaching trees and what coach was under this coach and where did that coach come from and this coach come from and what kind of offense did they run? What kind of defense did they run? You know, I'm real proud of some of it. Real proud of it. The information that you think you have, it does keep people intrigued. But when the depth has to be more than that, when you got to dig a little deeper, when you got to dig deeper than just the X's and O's, when you got to dig deeper to find a common denominator to failure, because that's a lot harder to do than finding it for success. When there's success, it's easy to follow the trail back to where it all come from. It's easy to follow the trail, go back to the roots, and find the common denominator on where the foundation was built when there's success. But when there's failure, it's a lot harder to do, because there's a lot of off paths. There's a lot of off roads that players and coaches and executives, it's a lot of off road paths that were taken before they got back onto the right path, if they ever did. A lot of times they go off path and they don't make it back onto the right path. We saw that. We've seen that in Atlanta basically our entire 60-year existence. We've seen it. We've been so off path for so long, going down so many wrong roads, that it's very hard to make it back to the right path. And every time we think we see the main road on the other side of the woods, we've been right there, right? We've been right there. We've been right there at the shoulder, waiting to step back on pavement just to find out that that's not pavement at all. It's still a dirt road. Where do we go to find the root of it all? In Atlanta. It's time it's time to get off of the coaching. I don't like Raheem. You don't like Raheem. We don't like what he's put together here as a head coach. But it ain't just Raheem. It was Arthur Smith. It was Dan Quinn. It was Mike Smith. It was Jim Moore. It was he who shall not be named. Where does it get to, or when does it get to? It's time to start asking management and ownership, what is the real agenda? What is the real plan of attack? When you think about it, other organizations have no problem with telling you exactly what their team is. We gonna run the ball, or we got a quarterback that can we got a quarterback that's gonna lead the way, or we got a running game that's gonna lead the way. Or we know that if we go out there and we win in the trenches, then we gonna be a successful football team. Teams let you know exactly what they're trying to do. Now, they don't have to let you know the variables of how they're going to get to that. But once the ball is snapped, you can't hide anything. Do fans realize that? Once the ball is snapped, there's no more hiding. Once it's time to play football, everybody finna learn and understand exactly what you trying to accomplish on the football field. So if we looking at the management, we looking at front office and we asking the question, damn, buddy, what is it that you are trying to accomplish? Because it's not making any sense. It didn't just start with Arthur Blank. It was ownership before Arthur Blank too. Offensive head coaches, defensive head coaches, go back and look over the course of history of our coaching staffs. We don't have anything that we don't have any kind of identity when it comes to how we hire. One year we're trying to one era we're trying to offensive coach. The next we're trying a defensive coach. The next we're trying another offensive coach. And after that, we'll try another defensive coach. Then we might double up on offensive coaches a couple hires. And then we're back to a defensive coach again. And we're alternating all the way up to year 60, 2025. Where now we have a coach who's on record for saying that he ain't defensive nor offensive. He just a head coach. Somebody got to make this shit make sense to the fan base. Because this boycott word been thrown around, and I'm not on board for that boycott shit, but I can't blame fans for wanting answers and for wanting results. Because at the end of the day, we do make up the consumer base. And if everybody gets on one page eventually, well, everybody said, I ain't buying no season ticket. I ain't buying no single game ticket, no day pass. I'm not doing none of that. Any other damn apps or networks that you stream a Falcon game to, I will not be buying that. Because I will not be interested in watching the Falcons play. Most people in Atlanta that love the Falcons, most people in Atlanta that love the Falcons, they don't watch nobody else but the Falcons on game day. They not like some of us who just love the game of football. We'll sit up and we'll watch a Cleveland Browns and Jacksonville Jaguars game. If it got any kind of interest to it for us, we'll sit up and we'll watch we will watch a Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans game. most people in the city ain't finna do that. They're gonna watch the Falcons if the Falcons on, or they gonna go to a Falcons game, or they're not. And that's it. That's it. They done with football for the day. So I can't blame the fans for wanting answers. Who we got in here? We got Jonte Rogel up in here. What's going on with you, Jonte Rogel? We got Georgia, Texas boy in the building. What's up with you, Georgia, Texas boy? Currently not of Georgia nor Texas. Ain't none of y'all motherfucker business. We got Miss Pam in the house, one of the lady birds of AFN. And that is Aunt T. What's going on with your Aunt T? She say, hello, Blakberry, home team, home team. Oh, she be turned up, home team. What's going on with your Aunt T Pam? Who else we got up in here, man? ATL 251 in the house. What's up with you, my boy? He said, yes, Rich was there. Yes, okay, so Rich was there when they won in Tampa the first time. Kudos to you, ATL 251. Silk up in here. He say, why would you keep a head coach if you're going in fire next year after 5 games? Well, they did it's the same thing they did with Arthur Smith, right? Or was that Dan Quinn? They did the same thing with Dan Quinn. They did the same thing with him. I would, me personally, I don't care how the first 2 years have looked. You got to let them come back a third year. Impulsively, I want them fired. Impulsively, I want Raheem Morris gone. But from a business standpoint, I got to let him come back another year. I got to let him start next year as the head coach. But my theories anyway, lead up to Arthur Blank and management bringing him back anyway, because a lot of what we've seen him be hired for is not what he's going to get fired for. And I think that's kind of hard for a lot of people to grasp, somewhat because of the complexity of him being hired, and a lot of it being because of just how things have went. So a lot of people can't wrap their head around him being fired, him not being fired for what he wasn't hired for. He wasn't fired for, he wasn't hired for to run his own offense, to run his own defense. He wasn't hired to do that. He wasn't. Should he have been? In my opinion, yes, because he's coming from under Sean McVay, who also, along with him, come from under Mike Shanahan. Something Sean McVay does that Mike Shanahan did was run their own offense. So why isn't he being hired to run his own defense? In a nutshell. And then he was hired to make sure we didn't have a quarterback situation in Atlanta again for quite some time. We were 6-3 ahead of the division last year with the healthy Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins he turns out not to be healthy after some games, after a couple handfuls of games, and they got to put the young boy in. That's something that Arthur Blank gonna take into account. The way that Michael Penix finished the season last year was promising. It was promising. Everybody knows what the sophomore slump is. It's a real thing. We saw CJ Stroud go through it last season. It's a real thing, the sophomore slump. Even if you've only had a few games under your belt starting, it's a real thing for most quarterbacks. So these are things that's going to be taken into account. Who else we got up in here? We got Raymond Elder up in here. What's up with you, Raymond? Who else got in? We got Southside. What's up with you, Southside? He said we cut the lead down as soon as Trae went out. He said we cut the lead down as soon as Trae went out. Oh yeah, we got to keep. Let me put this on, man. Let me put this on. So far, Trae has played 9 minutes. He's actually played the same amount of minutes as most of the other starters. He has 5 assists already with 4 points. End of the first quarter. Jalen Johnson has 3 assists with 7 points. And Dyson Daniels has 2 assists with 2 points. If I'm looking at the assists now, looking at the stat sheet so far, Southside, looked like the ball moving just as much as it did when Trae wasn't playing. And let's not pretend like we didn't get down in quarters. Well, the first quarter we usually play very well, but hey man, we gonna see what it is, man. I know Southside, he one of them guys that he ready to part way with Trae. He ain't on the Trae Young. He ain't on the keep Trae Young train. What's up with your Drake Murphy? Murphy, the one and only. What's happening, my boy? Raymond Elder say, get Raheem his pink slip as soon as the season over. Yeah, that's how we all feel. That's how we all feel. ATL 251 say, Black, am I crazy to say they setting up for the second generation of Blank and McKay to take over and start a new Falcons program? I don't think that's crazy of you to say. I think that's possible. We all know how nepotism works in sports. We all know how it works. So it's not crazy of you to say at all. Not at all. Start of the second quarter, and already you got the Hornets scoring already. I think the Hawks hit the line. It's 39-33. The Hawks got to stop. This ain't something that just started when Trae getting back this game. The past few games, we giving up a lot of points. We giving up a lot of points in quarters. We almost gave up 40 points in a quarter again tonight. Let's get. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because we still missing a couple guys, man. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Nikhil Alexander, he playing well off of the bench so far with only 4 minutes. He got 3 rebounds and 5 points already. So this might be a big Nikhil Alexander game, or Null as we call him. Trey Murphy say nothing much, just chilling, laid back, relaxing, watching some television, waiting on this Thursday night football game to kick off. All right, my boy. Miss Pam say, she called letting Dre Murphy know what's up. Hey, so when I think about it, man, when I'm thinking about how this season went, and I think about this past game against Tampa, and then we going into this Arizona game, I'm hearing it again. The same things I was hearing versus going into the Tampa game. I hope we lose. I hope they mop the floor with us. I don't know why it's this way with people. Never understood it. Don't really care to understand it. But I mean, I kind of semi-understand it. Where I understand why they're saying it. I just don't know. I don't understand why they feel like they have to voice it. And Hornets, they starting to pull away from the Hawks, man. 46-35. I don't understand why you would root for your team to lose. when we were young, when we were kids, if you played sports as a kid, a lot of us didn't. Now, I'm gonna speak for myself. I didn't have the consciousness before the age of like 15. I'm gonna say I didn't have the consciousness of being in contention for a championship. I just knew if we won or lost, and as a kid, you just want to win. It doesn't matter about the other games that you lost. You just want to win. At least those of us that are competitive. You just want to win. A lot of times I think about it as playing park ball or playing ball in the community. We played basketball in the neighborhood every day. And nobody kept track of how many times they lost. It's just every time you played, you tried to win. But if we all went back and just walked around our neighborhoods and go to every court that you played on, and if it's somebody there that remember you, you're talking about it and you're reminiscing, nobody gonna say, "Man, I beat you 20. I beat you 236 times." Yeah, well, I beat you 237. Nobody's doing that. You just know that every time you went out there, you tried to win. That's my competitive spirit. I don't care about us not being in playoff contention no more when it comes to winning and losing. I just want to win. I care that we not going to play in the playoffs, yes. But as far as going out there and still having something to play for, you still got something to play for. You got your pride, your competitive pride to play for. That's why them guys went out there and played it and gave it their all, most stuff in that Tampa game. Because nobody thinks about, you know, when they're in it, nobody's thinking about going to the playoffs or not going to the playoffs. When you in it, you ain't got time to think about that. When you in it, all you got time to think about is that man that's across from you that's about to try to take your head off. So you got to try to take his off before he take off yours. Well, from a defensive mindset. Of course, I think of things in from a defensive mindset. But that's all you thinking about. You're not thinking about, man, I got to make sure that I get this amount of points, or so that we can win. No, you just thinking about winning. You just thinking about doing whatever it takes to win. That's what you think. 49-35, Hornets up on the Hawks, man. They pulling away. Come on, Hawks. Come on, Hawks. Hold on. It said Trae only played 6 minutes. Jalen Johnson ain't played but 9. And Zachary Richardson ain't played but 7. Luke Kennard and Vic Krejci have played more minutes than Jalen Johnson and Zachary Richardson. I wonder what that's about, Quinn Snyder. Let's see. What's up with you, Raymond Collins? He up in here. What's happening, my boy? We got Cashido up in the building with the yurt. What's going on with you, Cashido? Raymond say, "What's up, Black and all the logo riders?" What y'all think about that, man? What y'all think about when you see that the Falcons are no longer in playoff contention? What do you think about when it comes to winning and losing? Are you a person that want to see us try to fight for a high draft pick or try to lose to get a high draft pick? Or are you the person that wants to see us continue to fight and try to compete and win football games? What type of person are you? I'm curious to see if any of you that's in in the chat right now if you want to answer that. When you see we no longer are in playoff contention, are you one of those fans that want us to lose so you can get a high draft pick? Even though this year we ain't even got a draft pick, the incentive to losing now for the fans is that Raheem Morris is going to be fired at the end of the season. So, are you one of those fans that want to see us lose for some sort of incentive to losing? Or are you one of those fans that want to see your team continue to fight and compete for victories, even though you know they're not going to make the playoffs? Trey Murphy say, y'all better not freaking lose to no freaking Charlotte Hornets, though. Come on, Hawks, man. That come on. Oh, they pulling away. They pulling away on the Hawks. It's 55-38. It's 55-38 Hornets. With over 8 minutes left to go in the second. They already done put up 55 points on the Hawks with over 8 minutes left in the second. That's crazy. That's crazy. They could put up 70 points in the half. This been an issue, man, defensively for the Hawks, though. This been an issue lately. And this is Trae Young first night back, because you can't put it on Trae Young being a liability on defense. This has been an issue the past handful of weeks. It's been an issue. The Hornets probably going to put up 70 points in this half unless we just go on some ridiculous defensive landslide, onslaught. I don't know. But we knew Trae was going to be on the minute restrictions. He's only played 6. I don't think he's played at all in his second quarters. Zachary Ricochet and Jalen Johnson haven't played a lot either. Jalen Johnson's only played 10 minutes so far. Zach's only played 7. And Asa Newell has played 15 off the bench. And Luke Kennard and Vic Krejci have played 18 off the bench. So whatever Quinn Snyder is attempting to do, it ain't fucking working because we're down 15 points in the second quarter. So I don't know what you're trying to do, Luke, Quinn Snyder, but that shit ain't working. Edge Cashido says, years past, if we had a first, I needed them good draft picks, no lie. Now it's yeah, hey man, that's keeping you being real, man. You being honest about it. Jonathan Rogers say keep fighting. He say keep fighting. He say keep fighting. Dre Murphy say, me personally, I'm the type of person that I want us to fight, to compete, and win football games, though. Point blank. Hey. Miss Pam say, I want them to win no matter what. I like that, Miss Pam. I like that. Raymond Collins say, my brother Dre Murphy, all good this way, bro. He hollering at Dre Murphy. Yeah, see, I'm along the lines of continue to compete and try to win, man. I don't like the idea of being okay with losing. I know there's situations in life where if you don't lose, then certain opportunities don't present themselves that end up being blessings in disguise. But all of that is in hindsight. All of that is in hindsight. If you purposely lose for gain in another area or some sort, that's sabotage. And it's always going to be at the expense of somebody else whenever sabotage is involved. It may benefit you somewhere, but for others, for someone else, it's hurting them. And when you're doing that, are you doing yourself any favors in the morale department? Where's the morality in that? these are the things that I think about. And maybe it's because I'm a man of faith and I'm God fearing. Maybe. But that's what I think about. Like if I lose right here, that's gonna open up a window of opportunity for me to get ahead with something else or with someone else. While I'm gonna leave in my wake, I'm gonna leave behind, I'm gonna leave some bodies behind me. You know, who's to say that the outcome is not gonna be greater by me winning? And this one I'm finna mess a lot of y'all up. This is what a lot of you gonna tune me out after this, but I gotta say it. What if winning the rest of these games, and that is what off the blank looks at? Not saying it is, this is hypothetical. What if off the blank takes it into account that you win the rest of these games with a healthy Kirk Cousins, and he determines that the Kirk Cousins, hiring was a good idea after all. It can work with Kirk Cousins. It was Raheem's pick to bring in Kirk Cousins. That's why he was hired in the first place. If you've been paying attention to me over this past year, that's why he was hired, because he had Kirk Cousins on the hook. And what if the results from these next 3 games, counting the Tampa game, with the way we played offense, the scheme we've gone out there and played with the personnel we've gone out there and played with, meaning not with Drake London, what if we go out there and we look a lot like we did against Tampa, minus the penalties, of course, hopefully, goodness gracious. And Raheem Morris and Arthur Blank keeps that into account, and he brings back Raheem Morris as your head coach. Now, we ain't gonna think we not gonna include whether or not the same OC gonna be here. We're not gonna include whether or not the same special teams coach is gonna be here. But we know Raheem Morris is coming back in this hypothetical scenario. We know he's bringing him back. And we know that Kirk Cousins has looked well in this hypothetical scenario, of course, has looked well in these games. And Arthur Blank says he's going to come back. We believe that Raheem and Kirk Cousins can go forth here on out and can deliver for our football team. And let's say the third time's the charm. Instead of starting 6-3 and falling off a 5 in a row cliff, instead of falling off a 5 in a row L cliff, and the Hawks are down 21 points now, 69-48. This is getting ridiculous. Instead of starting out 6-3 and falling off a 4L cliff, a 5L cliff, we go on and make a 6-3 and turn it into a 10 plus win season. Make the playoffs, win the division, find ourselves in at least the conference finals. Will fans be happy with those results? Are you happy if a Raheem Morris returning leads to a conference final appearance in 2026/2027 season? Are you happy? Or are you still, hell no, I don't give a fuck if we go to the conference finals, Raheem Morris should be fired even after the fact? What say you? What say you? Cashido say them years Steven Means was on our team. I wanted them picks. Fuck that. I get you. I got you, Cashido. I got you, man. It is a lot of people wanted us to lose so we could get better draft picks. I get it, man. I get it. I'm not saying that y'all wrong for thinking that. I just don't. That's just not how I think about it. I'd rather us compete to win. Philip Crawford said, what's up with you too, Philip? He said, I don't know. He said, I don't care what happened. I want my Falcons to fight and win at everything. If we stay healthy this upcoming season, we will win. You know, Philip, a lot of people don't want to take it into account that we are riddled with injuries in this season. A lot of people don't want to take that into account. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people think that other teams have had major injuries and they still continue to have success. But, oh, man, I don't know too many teams that before the season even begins, they go through their first 2 right tackles before a regular season snap is even taken. Your 2 right tackles both go down for the season. Then you have left guard issues where Bergeron is out of the lineup a couple times. Jake Matthews was out of the lineup a couple times on the line. You never really had all of your defensive pieces, but your defense has, for the most part, been reliable. For the most part, the biggest problem with defense is that at times when the offense did do things well in a game, the defense didn't complement the offense, and vice versa. And you can tie that to injuries. You can. When you didn't have AJ Terrell, when you didn't have Mike Hughes, when you didn't have Divine Diablo for a lengthy amount of time, no Billy Bowman for a significant amount of weeks. There's too many negatives for management to take into account that aren't controllable, like injuries. You can't control injuries. Injuries are going to occur, they're going to happen, but that's something that's out of coaching control. And when it's at the significant amount of injuries that we've had this season, that's something that has to be taken into account if you're doing a proper job analysis of your coach. And people say, well, these are professional athletes. That's true. These are all professional athletes. And just because you got the mindset of next man up, the reality of next man up is the next man isn't as good as the man that was in front of him. Simple as that. Especially in this situation where a lot of the next man ups came from the practice squad. So you gotta think about that kind of shit, man. If the level of talent was as good as you think it is coming from the practice squad, they wouldn't have made it to the practice squad. Somebody would have picked them up on their 53-man roster. Somebody would have claimed them off waivers. Or somebody would have came and offered them a contract while they were on your practice squad. So the level of talent matters. It does. And while they are all professionals, about 40-some% of the NFL, about 40-some% of the NFL personnel groups The players, about 40% of those players don't get an ounce of playing time. They don't get an ounce of playing time. But, they can go home and they can tell everybody out at the grocery store and at the church and at the gym that they're professional athletes, because they are. But when you turn on TV on Sunday, you ain't going to see them on the field, because their level of talent isn't as good as the people in front of them. That's reality. So you can have next man up mindset all you want to. You can have the next man up mentality. But next man up reality means that the next man up isn't as good as the man that was in front of him. Just the way it is. Why do you think preseason football looks the way it looks? That's why the preseason looks the way it looks. Because there's a lot of guys out there that's not as talented as draft picks. A lot of guys that's not as talented as starters or even second unit guys. A lot of them guys ain't as talented. Hawks down 79-60 with a minute left in the second. Goodness gracious. Every time you think they're trying to string a little comeback together, they let the Hornets get back up on the boards. Excuse me. 79-63 now. Trae Young has played 11 minutes. Him and Zachary Ricochet have played the same amount of minutes. The rest of the starters, Dyson Daniels has played 26. Onyeka has played 25. Jalen Johnson, 17. Asa Newell, he's getting a lot of playing time off the bench with 20 minutes. But he only got 1 rebound and 3 points in 20 minutes. Not good. 1 field goal made. Don't know how many he's attempted. 79-69. Woo! Hitting some big threes. Hitting some big threes back to back in that last minute. Got it down to 10 points with 20 seconds left. 79-69. Ooh, wee. Somebody hitting some big threes. Who hitting them big threes? Somebody hitting some big threes. Probably Jalen Johnson, because he got 14 points now. Oh, Nall is having a game. Only 13 minutes played, but he got 18 points. I think Nikhil is going dummy on him right now. Silk say, I want to win, but if we lose, we know why. Because we got dumb and dumber in charge. Raymond Collins say, some decisions look like they're being passionate, and then some are just head scratching. Evans out to mediocrity. It's very I don't even know if it's, well, you can't even really say it's mediocre. You really can't even say it's mediocre, because mediocre is average, and we ain't even looked. The decision making hasn't been average. It hasn't. It's been below what you would think the standard decision level should be. I don't know. That's kind of a hard one to kind of try to put some kind of ratio on. I don't know, but you would hope that your coaching decisions have been good decisions more so than bad. And even if it's half and half, you done had about 50-50 bad and good decisions that we've seen. Now we done seen good be down here and bad up here. It's been very lopsided. All right, halftime is 80-69. It's a more manageable second half going into, because we was at one point the Hawks was down like 21 points, but they got it down to 11. We gonna see what kind of third quarter they have. Third quarter has not been good to the Hawks over the course of this season. They've had very bad third quarters where they give up 40 plus points in quarters, and it's ridiculous. So we gonna see if there's a turnaround. I'm not sure what kind of game plan Quinn Snyder has had so far, but it's not looked like a good one. Muhammad Gay only has 3 minutes played. In those 3 minutes, he had 4 points. So I don't know why he hasn't gotten more playing time than Luke Kennard. That's head scratching because Luke Kennard has played 18 minutes with 1 fucking point. What the fuck, Quinn Snyder? We got Philip Crawford. Philip Crawford say, I'll take a healthy Kirk over every other quarterback out there. Yeah, man. And right now he look healthy. Southside said, I want Kirk to play well, so a team signs him so we can clear cap, but I also want Raheem gone. Well, I asked you the question. I asked everybody the question, Southside. What if a Raheem and Kirk retaining in 2026 takes you to a conference final? If that becomes hindsight in the future, if that becomes the future, we find ourselves in the NFC conference finals. Let's say we find ourselves there with Raheem as your head coach, with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. After the fact, are you still going to be saying you part ways with Raheem? Are you still going to be saying that you want to part ways with Kirk Cousins, though Kirk Cousins, he'll only have 1 year left on his contract? It'll make sense to trade Kirk Cousins after next year for sure. If you don't trade him this offseason, the offseason after would definitely make a lot of sense to trade Kirk Cousins. This year, y'all worried about getting it off your books, but I don't know why. The personnel that you currently have, you got some 1 year contracts that you could sign with you got some 1 year guys that's here that you could sign and still stay on, and be well under the cap. The personnel ain't look like the problem outside of some depth pieces. So I don't know what to tell y'all on that one. Lost a lot of close games this year too. We had a few blowouts, but we lost a lot of close games, just like years past. So, boy, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't fucking know. The damn goose egg against Carolina, nobody knows what in the fuck happened, what was going on there. Nobody knows what was going on there. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. When you go back and watch that game, it just looks like your quarterback and your offensive coordinator lost you the game. The play calling was dumb. And your quarterback missed a lot of open guys in that game. A lot. I don't know, man. That right there, you can't even. I don't even fucking know, bro. I like who's that said that? Like was that Philip Crawford or Raymond Collins? Like Raymond Collins said, man, the decision making, it's a lot of head scratching decision making. And that's coming from the players too. I don't know. Still say, let me call Big Low and I think you mean tell him you said we might bring Raheem. He going to trip. If we bring Raheem back? we probably are gonna bring Raheem back. Y'all watch what I tell you. Raheem Morris gonna be your head coach. Watch what I tell you. ATL 2v1 say no, but you know what's it's not out of control. It's not out of the general manager's control, and it's not out of his control to add depth to the chart. So injuries don't affect us as bad. You start the season off with your number 3 tackle, with your number 4 tackle on the depth chart. Your number 4 tackle on the depth chart. He ain't even a natural right tackle. He's a guard. He's a natural guard. And that's who you had to play right tackle at the start of your season. What you trying to say? You trying to say that that's Terry Fontenot's fault that the number 4 tackle on the team had to play? He started the season off pretty good. First handful of games, shit, I'm going to say the first 6 to 7 games. First 6, 7, 8 games. First 6 or 7 games. Wilkinson actually didn't look bad. He looked all right. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's because we was in a pistol, and the pistol is supposed to help a left-handed quarterback's blind side. It's supposed to help out with that, the vision for him. That's cool. That's whatever. He still got to perform well. He still got to perform well at the position, the right tackle. And he didn't play bad to start the first 6 or 7 games. I think it just got to the, and he didn't play bad last week. I mean, they only sat Kirk Cousins one time last week. I don't know. Like I said, man, head scratching. A lot of one word to just use for all of this is inconsistency. And that's inconsistency from your coaching and inconsistency from your players. That's just the best way to put it. Inconsistency. What time it is? 8:11. 8:13. 8:11. There's a 3 or a 1. Shit, man. What the fuck? Raymond Collins say lack of depth is a bad spot for us. Yeah, y'all, but JD Bertrand was the worst depth piece that we had all season. He was the worst. Even worse than I'm gonna say JD Bertrand and Natron Brooks was about the same. I'm gonna say they was about the same. But remember, D'Angelo Malone, he ain't been available. Maybe he would have played over JD Bertrand. Think about it. Bertrand was not supposed to be the next option. D'Angelo Malone was supposed to be the next option. Also, I was trying to tell everybody that Claude Phillips III would have been the next man up in the secondary group. But who they put out there instead? When you didn't have AJ, they put Robert Alford out there. I mean, not Robert Alford. D. Alford. They put D. Alford out there instead. And then D. Alford got hurt, and he wasn't even available. And when your boy went down, when Billy Bowman Jr. went down, and you didn't have Mike Hughes either, you didn't have no choice but to play Natron Brooks. Because Carl Phillips III, whatever his mystery injury status is, just like the rest of them that's been on IR, wasn't available. And Natron Brooks got his ass toasted. Like I said, The practice squad is the practice squad for a reason. The level of talent matters. The level of talent matters, man. When you're dealing with guys, when you got to play guys that's not even initially on your 53, we had to play a lot of guys that weren't even on the 53. But y'all trying to say depth was a problem. Maybe just the injuries was a problem. You might not like that take, but it's the truth. That's the game. That's the GM's fault. ATL 250. You is not gonna convince ATL 251 that Terry Fontenot has done his job. You is not gonna convince him. He got his mind made up. Raymond Elder say, I'm going to need some moonshine if this idiot is back at head coach. Well, go ahead and make sure you got plenty of it. Now it take a lot of water to make that shine. So make sure you get you one. You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go to like Crystal. What's that place? Crystal. That place, Crystal. I know where the warehouse is over there down off Fulton. I know where the warehouse is on Fulton. Hold on, is that Fulton that warehouse on? Oh shit, what that is there? What is that? That Fulton? Yeah, it's down off Fulton. It's off Fulton. It's somewhere off Fulton. I know where to get that off Fulton. I know where it's at. You're gonna need a lot of water. Okay, because you're gonna need a lot of shine. You're gonna need you about 200 gallons of water. Because you finna get slizzled, Raymond. Raymond, you hear me? You finna get slizzled. You finna get slizzled, my boy. Because he gonna be your head coach in 2026. He gonna be the Falcons head coach in 2026. So you go down there and you get you about 200 gallons. Order you about 200 gallons of water from Crystal. Order you about 200 gallons. So you can make you some shine. Oh man. Southside say, I really hope this loser ain't back next year, man. Boy, y'all with y'all, boy. Whew. I just hope y'all come back and support your boy, man, when he is. I hope y'all don't lose touch with your favorite content creators, man. Y'all make sure y'all come back and show me love when Raheem is your head coach. Because I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. So y'all make sure y'all still come show me some love. I don't give a damn what else you do. They come show me some love, Southside. He say Raheem is a proven failure. Let's move on. The ATL 2 say now, no, never trust a McKay. No, you can't trust. No, you can't trust. You can't trust. You can't. You just can't, bro. Yeah, good fight, bad. When all went crazy in that last minute, he went crazy. But shit, man, they got to come out in that second half. They're gonna have to do way better than that. This second half, getting ready to start. They're gonna have to do something better than that. I hope Quinn Snyder got a better game plan coming out. ATL 251 say just to point out, Terry isn't the salary cap guru. People be saying he is. Go look at the shape our cap is in under Terry this year. We 29th and we worse off next year already. What we care about the salary cap from this year? We supposed to have a stacked team. What we care about that? And that's why I said we shouldn't be worried about the cap for next year either, because the 1 years that you have, if you want to retain them, you should be able to retain the ones that you want to retain. You're going to retain all of them and still be under the cap, and you still got the roster you currently have. All you need to do is fill in the spaces. All you need to do is fill in the depth pieces. JD Bertrand need to be gone. You need to have healthy options. So it sucks a lot of these guys weren't available. Don't know what the real story is behind these injuries. I'm sure it's something that's fugazi as hell that we've been given, but I know that there's something else going on. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. And I do think that's I don't know for sure, but I do think that it is an indictment on Raheem Morris you why we've been put through the ringer with these injuries. Just saying. Thursday night football has kicked off. So we're gonna go ahead and let y'all tune into that. Get ready for that. The Hawks second half has just begun. They already letting it get crazy. It's 86-71. They're down 15 points already, man. Down another 5 points already. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. After the next week, of course, the next week is a big holiday weekend. A big holiday week is Christmas week. So we'll be doing something Monday and Tuesday, but we'll be off the rest of the week. We won't be back on Fridays until January 2nd. So y'all make sure y'all tuning in for us on January 2nd when we get Friday Night Live back up and going and continue our greatest Georgia football player in Georgia football history of all time. We get that kit back up January 2nd. Make sure you got that notification bell hit, man. I appreciate everybody that came through. Y'all make sure you also continue to support all the content creators out here, man, for Atlanta sports, Georgia sports, Falcons, Hawks, Braves, etc. And just any content creator out here that's doing the thing, man. Y'all make sure y'all support, man. Hey, man, appreciate you for coming through. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Dre Murphy say his birthday is on Monday, man. So, hey, man, happy early birthday to Dre Murphy. Murphy, the one and only. I'll be telling you happy birthday on Monday too, man. Even if you ain't there, I'm going to try to put a mental note in my head right now and make sure I say happy birthday to Dre Murphy. Murphy, the one and only, this coming up Monday, man. So y'all wish your boy a happy birthday down there in the chat. Appreciate you, my boy. D Davis, what's up with you, man? Go Dogs, man. Appreciate you for coming through and appreciate everybody that came through and showed love in the chat. Appreciate everybody that's going to come through and watch this after the fact. This has been the home team with Blakberry. That's Blakberry, no C, just the K. Catch me on the flip side. Peace.